Duncan here. Lunchtime, came down here, show my support for the veterans. Here I am at Veterans Park in Klamath Falls, Oregon. I want to take you through the memorial we have here. So it's going to be a little long, but enjoy. It says, this memorial is dedicated to the America's military veterans and their families in recognition of their service and sacrifice from the grateful citizens of the Klamath Basin. May we never forget. Veterans Day, 11 November 2007. Okay, this is the Blue Star Memorial Highway, a tribute to the armed forces that have defended the United States of America. Sponsored by the Oregon State Federation of Garden Clubs Incorporated in cooperation with Oregon State Highway Department. So here we go. First, notice the flags. Love the flags. We come over here. First thing you notice, the POW flag. Prisoners of war. Pretty big about that here. Also, the United States flag. Gotta love that. So we have the different branches here, all the little plaques. We'll get a better look right here. So the Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, National Guard, and the Merchant Marines. So let's start here. American Revolution, 1775, 1783. It says, to our forefathers who had the vision to see our future. The cement of this union is in the heart blood of every American. Thomas Jefferson. The American Revolution began when Great Britain forced its 13 American colonies to pay taxes, but did not give them representation in the British Parliament. This and other injustices led to the American colonies to declare independence on July 4th, 1776. Independence was achieved in 1783 when the Treaty of Paris was signed with Britain. This was the beginning of our great nation, the United States of America. You just say, God bless America. So you come over here. Now we're talking the Civil War. It says Civil War, 1861 to 1865. The war between the states. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Abraham Lincoln, June 16, 1858. Address to the Republican Convention. The Civil War was the result of clashing ideologies. It started as a conflict over states' rights and developed into a war over slavery. More than 620,000 Americans died in the Civil War, more than all of the wars combined. Confederate General Robert E. Lee's surrender at Appomattox, Virginia, on April 9, 1865, effectively ended the Civil War. The Civil War preserved the United States as one nation. Now, as we talk about them removing the Robert Lee statues, keep in mind that he's responsible for ending the Civil War. Okay, he's a guy that refused to allow his soldiers to go off and die into this country. Okay, so remember that. So as we come here to the World War I, 1914 to 1918, the war to end all wars. The First World War was a global military conflict in which more than 9 million soldiers and civilians died. The conflict took place primarily in the trenches of Europe, although hostilities also occurred at sea and for the first time in the air. This war marked the end of the world order that existed after the Napoleonic Wars and was an important factor in the outbreak of World War II. These men rendered one of the greatest services that could have been done for our nation and civilization's cause. Hundreds of precious lives were lost, a loss that can never be made up by their country. President Warren G. Harding. We got your POW plaque, prisoner of wars right there. Then this takes us into World War II, 1941 to 1945. To those who stood for right who defended our nation against autocratic aggression and sought to better mankind. A surprise Japanese military attack on the United States of Pearl Harbor at a naval base on Oahu, Hawaii, awakened the sleeping giant and united the nation between the common purposes of liberating the oppressed and guarding freedom. President Roosevelt called December 7, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The 4-year campaign in Europe against the German aggression and in the Pacific against the Japanese aggression brought total war to the globe. No American military or civilian was untouched. World War II was the proving ground on which our military dominated land, sea, and air, though it cost us more than 400,000 American lives to do so. But we liberated people who needed our help. America stood to the call, and we stood proud, and we answered. Then we go into the Korean War, 1950 to 1953. The Korean War is often called the Forgotten War, historically overshadowed by World War II and Vietnam. The Korean War was the first armed conflict of the Cold War. Our nation lost 54,246 brave Americans as we battled to stop the advancement of communism in Southeast Asia. We honor our own who answered the call to defend a country they never knew and people they never met. I have relatives that fought in the Korean War, and let me just say that I'm pretty proud of that. We're going to continue on. See, we recognize all the wars here. Now let's go into the Indian Wars. 1778, 1890, the Barbarian Wars, 1800, 1850, the War of 1812, Mexican War, 1846 to 1848, the Spanish-American War, 1898, San Juan Hill, Teddy Roosevelt, Rough Riders, Cold War, 1945 to 1991, Lebanon, 1958, 1982, 1984, Bay of Pigs, 1961, Dominican Republican, 1965, Iran hostage crisis, 1980, Libya, 1981, 86, Grenada, 83, Haiti, 84, Panama, 89, Somalia, 92, 94. May we never forget the attack of the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, September 11th, 2001. And then we're coming around here. And now we're going into the Vietnam War. Vietnam, 1959 to 1975, the longest war in U.S. history. The United States' principal goal in this war was to assist the people of South Vietnam in winning their conflict against the extremely directed and supported communist conspiracy. We respectfully dedicated this plaque to the 3,403,100 veterans who served in the Southeast Asian theater during the Vietnam War. We humbly thank the 766 prisoners of war, the 2,338 missing in action, and the 303,709 wounded in action. We honor and will not forget the ultimate sacrifice made by the 58,266 men and women killed in action, and those that later died prematurely as a result of their service in this war. The suffering and pain they endured will be remembered. Now, if you notice here, we'll go off track. Each one of these bricks are named. And each one of them are named with a local soldier, somebody that fought here for the basin, that dedicated to the military. You can see people putting signs out there. I'm not quite sure what exactly they're trying to say, but I kind of like the question authority. I don't know, I like that. I think I'm going to take that down as I'm leaving. So, Persian Gulf War, 1991. Operation Desert Storm was a decisive coalition victory over Saddam Hussein and the Iraq military launched in response to the Iraq's invasion of Kuwait. The United Nations coalition drove the Iraqi military out of Kuwait with minimal casualties. After the war's ending, southern and northern watch no-fly zones were manned by coalition forces for almost 12 years, until the Iraq War began in 20 March 2003 with Operation Iraq Freedom. May we never forget the sacrifices of those who have ensured our freedom and safety. I think that's pretty key to remember. You know, then we move into Bosnia, 1994, 1995, Kosovo, 99. To stand in the gap for the defense of others, fighting the Balkan states claimed thousands of civilian lives in conflicts that were largely not understood in the United States. Both the Bosnia and Kosovo conflicts were by and large based on territorial and religious claims of the warring countries. An unconfirmed death toll of civilians in both conflicts reached beyond 100,000, mostly contributed to ethnic cleansing. The United States entered both conflicts as a part of United Nations peacekeeping force. Well, you know, when they bomb, you know, chemically bomb 25,000 of their own people and kill 25,000 of their own people, I must say that's pretty much evidence of, you know, that's evidence of you know, weapons of mass destruction, to say the least. So this goes into the global war of terrorism. A global war on terrorism was launched in response to the horrendous attacks against our freedom on 11 September 2001. These attacks took the lives of over 3,000 innocent people. At the time this memorial was dedicated, the global war on terrorism continued. 2 wars specifically ensured from these attacks on the United States. Afghanistan War 2001 to the present. Operation Enduring Freedom began in Afghanistan to eliminate the Al-Qaeda and to remove the Taliban regime from power. Al-Qaeda and the Taliban were both linked to the September 11th, 2001 attacks on the United States. Plus the Iraq War, 2003 to the current. Operation Iraqi Freedom was launched on March 20th, 2003, and was an ongoing at the time this Veterans Memorial was dedicated. The main objective of OIF was to establish a democracy in Iraq, so the Iraqi people could thrive, and to eliminate terrorism from the depths of Iraq. I think it's also key to once again note that Saddam Hussein chemically bombed a whole bunch of his own people, which for its own reason gave itself enough cause to go into Iraq. So once again, if you see that sign up there, it says question authority. I think it's pretty much disrespecting our troops. I don't think I really like it there, especially right on the outside of a memorial to our soldiers. So I'm going to go over there and I'm going to pretty much rip it down, I think, because I'm not going to let that happen. I don't think you should be sending that message to question authority. That to me is like questioning their service, and to me that's just wrong. So, as you can see, I'm ripping it down. I want to throw it away now because that bothers me. I mean, people sacrifice their lives for this country, and that's the disrespect they get. They come to these liberal ass states and they make that crap. Well, I'm not gonna let it happen. You're not gonna pull that crap in front of me. I'm an American. I support my troops. I support our soldiers. So with that being said, please, if you like this video and others like it, hit the subscribe button, hit the like, comment, and enjoy the video. Thanks for watching. Hit that bell for future notifications. Peace. Duncan out.